Welcome back to another episode of 3 Awesome Tonight. I'm your host, Ethan. We have one awesome topic, perhaps 4 awesome people. It really depends on who shows up tonight. And tonight is a special episode because the topic today is a little sensitive to ensure the gender balance and more diverse perspectives. The special group today is Mia, Luis, Hawking, and I'm back as well. All right, come on, let's say hi to our audience.
Hi.
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 Okay, Mars and Venus. So can anyone have a guess on the reason why I chose this theme?
Because Louis has mentioned that there's a book named Mars.
There is a book called Men Are From Mars and the Women Are From Venus, written in 1992. It's almost 34 years ago.
Is it a good book?
I read it when I was in college school. It's really long term and I barely to remember some details about that. But it should be very useful, but in practice...
It's hard to put in practice.
Yes, it's still very difficult to overcome. Have anybody read that book before?
No.
Well,
No.
Heard about it.
Yeah, I just
Heard
read
about
it during my university, and but I just already forgot it. It means the key idea is that the mindsets of women and men are totally different, and that's the reason why they are come from different planet. So that's the idea I got. But for the rest,
It is a good book. I just checked it on Douban and it's rated 7.6, 7.6分.
7.6.
So,
Good score.
Okay, thanks for recommendation. I'll have a check and read it.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's really an old book and unlike the trending topic. But I think if it's a new book just released recently, it would be a very trending topic. A trending book would be very popular because it's a really old book, like the old song.
Yeah.
And the theme today is Mars and Venus and man and woman. So there are 2 men and 2 women. It's just strike a balance. As usual, the first segment is background check. Not only should you introduce yourself briefly, but also you should tell us, have you experienced any bias because of your gender? All right?
Okay.
Want to go first? How about we start with Hawking?
My name is Hawking. This is my 3rd time to be on the podcast, and I'm an independent English teacher. And through my whole life, I've seldom experienced any gender bias, I think, because neither am I in a workplace or am I in a marriage. So I seldom experience it. But I do experience some gender benefit in my life. For example, when we take the subway, we can notice a woman priority carriage is really benefit the woman and caring for the woman. Several years ago, I sprained my ankle, and after that, I traveled a lot of cities by myself. And when I carry a very heavy suitcase, I will ask help from a random male. So they will offer assistance or offer help really generously. I do experience some gender benefits because the male sometimes will take care of the woman.
Yes, I agree with that. So somebody do not get embarrassed, but get some benefits because of her gender. So how about others?
Yeah.
Yeah, I also want to say it's not bias, it's benefits. Hi everyone, I am Mia. I used to be an international sales representative in medical industry, and now I'm a wine dealer. But for me, I do have ever experienced gender bias. When I was an international sales representative, I was responsible for the Middle East region. That time I can feel that my leader didn't think I could do this job well because he thought that I am a young girl and I'm unable to negotiate with those old men who were at the age of my father. And also because of the religion of Middle East is Muslim, they don't care what you said since you are a woman. Then sometimes you already lost the equality to negotiate with them. But what I did is to try my best to explore new distributors and try my best to maintain the extent the distributors and to improve myself. This is a gender bias I experienced. Also, in my previous job, I can found maybe in that medical company, the men sales are more than women sales, and also in board, men are more than women. I think there is an imbalance of gender.
You can see some career obstacle in there, some barrier in there. You just find some career ceiling, right? 就是天花板.
Yes, definitely.
Your boss question you and hire you, right?
Initially, the boss who hired me, he got improved to another position, and then
Another position.
another leader
Explain.
came.
I also respond for the Middle East market, but we can also say that kind of culture just strongly affect their assumptions. But most of them already become secular. For some countries, you should wear the sari, right?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So, Luis?
So what I experienced in the past is from the English corner that I hosted story. There's a couple who went to a same company together to apply for different job positions. The man is applying for the software engineer and the girl is applying for the HR or public relation positions. And the result is the man, the job offer. However, the girl failed to get it. When I dig out why the girl didn't get a job offer, and she told me that the HR think she is gonna pregnant in the next few months because she has boyfriend or husband. So the company finally decided to reject. I never experienced that, but I know this is the truth, and the companies is always business centered and interest centered. If the company is gonna pay for some unconditional leave for pregnancy, they will like to evaluate the ROI, like the rates of inputs and outputs. If they output more than the inputs, probably they will not do something for it. I think the gender biases are always there in the workplace, and it seems there is no way to avoid that.
I think she should not tell the HR that she had a boyfriend. I think it's a totally experienced problem.
Yes, HR just asked her about this kind of questions. And when HR heard about the words the girl is having a boyfriend, well, probably they will just consider that.
It's the default question. The HR will ask everyone. I'm married, so you should just check on the internet. Of course, it's embarrassing, but you should be well prepared.
Certainly.
I'm Ethan. I'm an overseas account manager and responsible for the overseas sales, mainly in power industry. And I have been to over 19 countries right now. I also experienced some barriers because when I do something good, I really need some people show some appreciation rather than take it for granted. I think it's kind of embarrassing because people think the male should do something just for granted.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. Yeah.
Yes.
It seems always that the man has to take the responsibility, but the woman can be another story.
Nowadays, it's very complicated because the old stereotype is fighting with new stereotype. It's from one extreme to another. It's like a bipolar fight. Step back to our main topic. And today, there also have 4 questions. The first one is, do men and women facing different kinds of bias at work? Do you think women experience certain disadvantages in workplace? And in some situations, do men face bias as well?
I'll go first.
Oh, all right, that's good.
For me, in my opinion, thanks to reform and opening up and the new China and party, I think nowadays is the best time for women. We can enjoy the equality with men, and we can do almost every kind of jobs like men, in my opinion. Even during my school time, I feel that we are equal with the boys. We can compete with them, and we can also earn some praise from the teacher. And after that, I seldom see some restrictions at some work for a woman. If it is physically unsuitable for a woman, it can be done by women. Women can't choose this kind of jobs, but almost every kind of jobs can be done by women nowadays. So I think it's the best time and age for women, not just from the social level, even from the family perspectives. Nowadays, many families just have one child. I'm the only child in the family, and my family can give me a wholehearted support for me when I choose my career. So just like me, many families are doing the same things. Even for the multi-children family, they are very open-minded. The parents are treating their children equally and giving them equally support. So from the family perspective, we can enjoy the time benefits. I'm very optimistic about it. But if we have to say there are some bias or some disadvantages for women, I think there is a long exist inequality in some industries like literature industry, because I like reading in my spare times, but almost every writers I like is males, just like 余华 and 史铁生 and 王小波 刘慈欣 陀思妥耶夫斯基, all of them are males. So sometimes I wonder whether my values or my outlooks for my life is shaped by males, because what I'm reading is written by the males. So I think there is a big gap between women and men in the literature industry. This is a disadvantages for women. And for another industries like movies, and some famous directors and stand-up comedians, all of them are males. So in the literature industry or entertainment industries, they are occupied or they are dominated by the males. So there's some uneven in it. And I think there is also some disadvantages for males, because some dangerous jobs and some physically demanding jobs are expected done by males, such as during the World War II or World War I, many soldiers are from the males, or the dangerous jobs or rescue jobs are done by the males. So they are expected to do it and often are taken for granted, like Ethan said. So I think this is the disadvantages for the males.
Most demanding risk task for the men. So the death rate of men is much higher than the women. We can see even the life expectations, we can see the difference. Like even you are delivery guy, most of them are men, right?
Deliver guy.
对，送餐员比较危险，
但是保洁都是女性的。
但保洁没有危险，你的送餐很危险的。I'm wondering, have you ever read a book by 琼瑶? Because she also a very famous writer, right?
Yeah. Watch her TV series written by the 琼瑶.
Yeah, so you should already read a lot of articles from the female authors.
So what's your point?
So you said that there is a lot of very famous writer like 史铁生is male. But I just pointed that you also...
But 琼瑶is not recognized by the world, by the society, because his values is not so good.
Yep, I agree with that. Okay, so anyone, Luis?
Okay. Well, for this question, do you think a woman experiences certain disadvantage in the workplace? I want to mention one point. It's about the promotion. There's a statistics. Male are more easily to get promoted than the woman in kind of any industries in the world. The social norm indicates that men should be in the higher level, higher role, to play a very significant role in the society, in the workplace, whereas the woman should do something that is kind of lower leveled. Personally, I don't have any judgments about the promotions. I think the promotions should be objective, and everybody has the equal rights to get promotion. But from the society perspective, I mean, in the public, even the company board, they will think that the man should like take the lead and do something great or do something more important, or putting in the higher position, kind of like that. As you can see, like in this society, we'll find like 80% of the CEOs in the unicorns are men instead of women, like Apple or Microsoft or Tesla, SpaceX, and they are all men. You will probably find the real woman will kind of get the higher positions in these companies or corporations. That's what I'm thinking about. But for men also, we feel biases as well. As Hawking mentioned, yeah, we are the ones to put into the field, to the front line, to fight against those opponents or bad guys, the enemies. We are bound to be different. And the man usually is taller and stronger, and they have a wider shoulders, and they can kind of have a much more powers than the woman, allowing them to, or just pushing them to do something even more heavy or difficult. That's the reason we have so many dangerous jobs. We can only see men working in there, but no woman there. I would say this is something the man will experience like that.
So you think that male should have more opportunities to get promoted than women? It's a bias or not?
It's a bias. The society will look at men and women in different perspectives. Like we tend to think the man can be put into a higher positions and they can do it well and they can like working in that position in a stable way. However, the woman cannot. Especially from what I experienced in the company, my leader is a woman and she has a lot of capabilities in working, but I never thought she would someday become the manager or the CEO or general manager of the company, because I still find some kind of the personal chase the woman could never have, but the man can just handle it well. It's really subtle. I couldn't explain why. There's some feelings like maybe the woman can do it well, but it's really hard to put it into a really high position like the CEO or general manager. Especially when I got the opportunity to converse with the general manager, and I found they got so many leaderships or general excellent personal traits. It doesn't mean that the woman doesn't have it. It means like if this is a man doing that kind of things, we would just take it for granted. Like this is how things work. This is kind of a stereotype, and we will always look at things like this way. But if there's a woman coming up to that general manager position, I would say, oh, it can be something unusual. Can she make it? Can she stably stay in that position? We will doubt it and we will think, oh, maybe this is not from a normal or usual social perspective. That's kind of a social bias and social norm towards
So back to the story of you both, I think maybe the experience of the interaction between you and her is that affect your perception of the female, right?
I think I can be a very rational man. I will look at things in a really rational and objective way instead of subjective. So I will just evaluate, like, can you be qualified at that position? So is that okay, or is that what I think you will have that kind of ability to do as a general manager? But I will just evaluate. It's not like I will say, oh, a woman, you cannot do that. No, I will still have the very clear evaluation metrics to evaluate whether this man or woman is capable of doing something as a higher manager position. And especially time span can be a really critical factor to determine whether this woman can be in a high position or not. For example, I've seen a lot in some really special particular situations in the workplace. If you look at the man or woman for a short period, 1 or 2 months, she can do it well. I mean, she can act like a manager, doing things and handle things in a really excellent way. But if you spend the time to 1 year or 2 years, probably you will find something different. After 1.5 years, and you find that female employee isn't that capable of doing something, and she had something in his house.
So I think this metric is nothing about the male and female. It's a metric for all genders, right? It's applied for 2 genders, not only for women. It's for 2 genders.
I'm talking about the percentage. The percentage of men can be more than women. That's what I'm trying to say.
So you still think in the metrics, it's just in a very objective way.
It can
that
do it
if
better.
we just put it as a KPI, usually
we can just look at the outcomes of today's world, like the CEOs of the unicorns in China or in America. You can see 80% of the CEOs are men. And that's the result. I never doubt that, because that's the result. I need to say maybe the man is doing better according to those metrics by evaluating whether this man or woman is capable of doing something.
Yes, I partly agree with you, because nowadays we can see that what happened in the world, but we do not know the reason why, because maybe there is some stereotype, maybe some barrier, some ceiling, and because of our culture and history, maybe in the future it will be changed. That's only our guess.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Maybe it's happening right now, but in the future, maybe. At the very beginning, we have the assumption of one gender, but after some experience, books, that the assumption become a stereotype. it's even harder. The male should be stronger, masculine, be leadership oriented. For the woman, I think it's like girly. And then maybe some male would like to help you, that they really get some interest from it. So
Yeah, that works. I tried.
yes, I just put it in another perspective because we already talk about so much career. I just talk about the traditional male and female, that the male is complicated because usually the girly girl would be popular, be attractive, but the male is complicated because the masculine male is attractive. Sometimes the feminine male also would be popular. In Asia, we call it 阴柔的, also sometimes it's popular, so it's a little complicated. But we can see that, especially in our Asia tradition, we can see that trend in Asia.
The time is changing. You say some girly boy are appreciated by the society, and also some cool girl, just like Li Yuchun, and some other girls, masculine girls like.
It's different. You know that Li Yuchun is only attracted the woman, not the man.
Oh.
That's a problem. I think the girls consider Li Chun as a male, not a female. That's a problem.
True.
So the standard is totally different. And in their imagination, maybe the Yu Chun would be the
Protector.
play the role of the boyfriend, maybe. Because Li Chun is cool and tall, I think I can call it masculine.
It's not masculine.
Sorry for that. I don't know you are a fan of Li Chun. Could you explain why you like Li Chun? Sorry for that. Maybe that's my bias.
She's so cool, and half of her is like a boy, and half of her is like a woman. It's so special, and it's not like the masculine man. It's so fresh, cool, so unique. We never found this kind of movement before.
Androgynous have the beauty of two genders.
Yes, 双性.
Yes, it's cool. But from a male perspective, it's really hard to find a male really like her. I haven't heard any man is a fan of Li Chun. I better to see that.
Oh, yeah. What's her next?
That's
Is it
okay.
my turn?
Sure.
Okay. My answer to this first question is definitely yes. Because of stereotypes and different generations all live up to different expectations. And for women experience certain disadvantages in the workplace. Also same with you guys. First is the physical factors. For example, women need to give birth to baby, just as Louis said, so the employers would consider the cost. So maybe they will prefer to hire a man than a woman. And also from physical perspective, women are thought to be weak. So some physical work may not be assigned to them. And apart from physical factors, also personality, I think most women are thought to prefer to avoid conflicts. That's why most women are squeezed in hundreds of years ago. They are thought not to be able to fight for their rights, and so their rights are always violated. And for third questions, also men are facing some biases. I remember Paul King mentioned the physical labor bias. Dangerous or heavy manual work are mostly assigned to men. But I think this kind of jobs would be replaced by robots in the future.
Yeah.
And second, I think some men are thought to be unfit for some caring jobs, like teaching or nursing, etc. And these kind of work are thought to be caring and stable, preferred by women. The third thing is that I remember Ethan also mentioned the social norm asks boys to show their masculinity more. So most of the time they have to hide their weak side. But I think as a man, you also have the time when you want to cry, when you are sad, and you're not allowed to show your emotion. It's terrible when your emotion does not have a way to give out. This is my answer to the first question.
Okay, so Mia, could you just read the second question?
Okay. Is there a difference between being a housewife and a house husband? Why do these roles feel different in society? Is it expectation, culture, or something else? Okay, I'll come first. My answer is yes, but core tasks are the same, like cleaning the house, taking care of the children. But I think there are three differences. First is the word housewife is more commonly used, while house husband, I think it's a modern term that has become increasingly popular with gender equality and the diversification of family roles. It's appearing these days. And second, I think housewives and house husbands are facing different pressure from the society. Even from my perspective, when I hear a woman is a housewife, it's acceptable. But when I hear a man is a house husband, it's a bit strange. For our society, still think men should find a job and feed his family instead of staying home and taking care of children. And the third thing I think should be different, maybe the network. I think housewives are still more than house husbands. And housewives have their circle and they can stay together, share their opinions of taking care of children and talking with each other. But I'm wondering if house husbands have their circle to share their appearance, give others advice. That's strange. I never heard of these kind of things. Maybe husbands are a bit isolated, something like that. This is the three differences I can come up with. And why do these roles feel different in society? Just as I mentioned the word development, we can find the division of social work in history. In the primitive society, men went out to hunt for food, to feed their family, while women stay home to take care of the children and maintain the relationship with other members in the tribe. These have formed the division of social work. So it's a bit strange when I hear men stay home taking care of children. And second is, I think still the stereotype. What is acceptable is that women can rely on men and care for the family matters. But when you think from the opposite side, it's like men rely on women to feed the family. That's a bit strange. It's not that acceptable in maybe China's cultural condition.
男主外女主内 is a tradition, long tradition for China. And it's very interesting to observe that there's a lot of WeChat group for moms like 宝妈群, but we never say 宝爸群.
It's seldom to find a house husband, but even a housewife, they maybe face the same situation, verbal abuse, because they do not have the income. Yeah, that's a problem. Even just nurturing the house, the baby is valuable, but it still faces the problem. The house husband would face that. It may be even harsh. But I think the ideal relationship everyone should have their job outside.
Yes, this is a way to keep the connection with the society. Or your world could be very small. It's very limited. And your family is your whole world. I think that's a bit risky.
Yeah, like an isolated island, cannot see anyone.
Yes, you cannot let others carry you the long way because maybe you love each other, but things change. Who knows, right? You only can trust yourself.
I think a house or home is the most desperate workplace for both males and females, because at home and raising a child, you need to pay full attention for 24 hours every day. So it's really tiring and exhausting for anyone. And the dedication or devotion at home are usually not recognized or seen by the society or the partners or the friends or people around you. So it's so desperate, and maybe people will feel depressed when they work at home. So it's not a happy job for both men and women. And what's the difference between the rules of housewife and house husband is that for housewives, you work at home or you stay at home. It's just like a have-to-do job for women, because women have their mother natures. The baby needs you. You have to feed the baby and nurturing the baby. So it's your job, it's your duty to care about the baby and take care of your husband or take care of the whole house. So people always take it for granted what women do at home and always devaluate it. That's the plight, 困境 for women. For men, that's a kind of job that women never should do, because men supposed to work outside to success in the workplace. Like Louis said, males are easily get promoted, so you have to work hard at the workplace. It's what you should do. You shouldn't stay at home to take care of the baby or clean the house. It's a woman's job. If you work at home, you're a loser or you're a failure. It's even more unfriendly to males to do the housework. So that's the difference between them. But I think the best solution for this kind of situation is that the couple should communicate more to find a final solution. If both of them are so busy, if they have financial capacity, they can hire a babysitter or infant nurse to take care of baby or share the burden so they can focus on their own jobs. But if one of them have the opportunity to improve or get promoted, they should support another one to stay at home and share the work and share the duties. So the final solution is communication, to clearly communicate with each other.
We can see that the valuation of the gender is very different, and the male should be the provider and the female sometimes become the nurturer. We already have the consensus that we can see a lot of women be a housewife, but we seldom to see that the male become a husband. Nowadays, we have different expectations, and if the male just working at home, he will face a very challenging peer pressure. That's very different from the woman. I also want to stress that even some people take it for granted that women can work at home, be a housewife. I totally against the housewife and the house husband, because people should complete yourself. Isolated in the home, you will be much different from what you were before, and be isolated, not to communicate. You cannot find some common topics with your partners. That's a problem. So even your house husband, you should go out to find a job. Maybe like Hawkins said, you should hire a babysitter to do that job. The child road and go to school totally free. And you do not need to sit at home and to take care of the child day by day.
But I think maybe because we are not in that situation, so we can advise them to have their own job. Let's imagine if you like your children very much and he or she is very weak. Will you feel worried if you just leave your child to a babysitter? And sometimes when you are working, you are still worrying about your child. You will not stay focused. So maybe this may cause some women to give up their jobs and totally go back to their family. Or maybe they are so busy, they cannot balance the two sides, so they have to sacrifice their career for the family. Since we are not in their shoes.
May I ask a question? When you go to the kindergarten at what age?
6.
The first time?
I cannot remember, it's too small.
6 or 5, but nowadays children will.
I came to the kindergarten at 3 years old.
You? 3 years
Yep.
old. Wow.
3 years old.
So independent.
Because my father and mother did work, and they kind of like a government employee. So my mother take care of me 1.5 years. She also will come back to the office. So I will go to the kindergarten.
So
But
did you
listen,
feel happy?
At the very beginning, I think it's not happy because the first several times I cried. I can still remember that when I was in kindergarten and I cried. But after
Me
2 or 3 days, I just really made some good friends. The child will get used to it, and child will grow up. Don't worry about that.
I think maybe Ethan, first you are very obedient. Your teacher and your parents like you very much, and you are able to make friends with other children. But for example, for me, when I was little, I was very naughty. I always play some games with my teacher, and I hate go to school. This may cause my parents sort of trouble. They need to come to kindergarten from time to time to deal with the things or the conflicts between me and my teacher or between me and other friends. I have to say, my mother is not a housewife, but I know when I was little, they spent a lot of time on me, and they also asked my grandmother to come to take care of me. Different children may cost you different energy. That's hard to say.
I think your parents do not worry about you. They worry about any trouble you make. Yeah, and the teacher should.
I think they hate me. They hate you very much.
Usually, as a child, maybe 3 or 4 years old, you should afraid of the teacher. You don't think so because
I
the
think
teacher
they
do
are.
not kick your ass.
I think they were afraid of me. I remember maybe because I was cute when I was little, so even sometimes they want to scold me, or they want to hit me, but they didn't, and that made me more naughty. So it's a very bad circle.
So it's very different from my experience in Northeast because in Dubei we are not that civilized to talk with the child. The violence is everything. Yeah.
I want to say, like, the things have become complicated. Listen and Hawking, and your experience really enlightened me that I should not look at the things in a very simple and narrow way. I was a bit narrow towards something. I really want to share something like the housewife and the husband, they have their personalities. What I'm trying to say is that the housewife can attention to some details. When they are babysit their kids, and they will easy to get the detailed dangers of the children, especially for some special situations, and whether the baby is falling down or not, and the housewife can easily sense it and then take actions. However, for the husband, they probably don't have that kind of nerves to sense that subtle and detailed behaviors or dangers, and then causing some really devastating results. And that's what I saw from some short videos from Red Note or TikTok. It happens frequently in the families. So, and I would say because of that kind of personality or some capabilities to take care of the family, the kids, the babysitting, and the housewife can do it better.
So you mean the female would be detail-oriented and avoid some careless bad things happen?
Pretty much it. Like the women are able to handle those things in a really good way, while the men cannot. In the history, the men are going out to hunt, right? It seems they don't have that kind of experience in handling the houseworks or things like that.
The record of a female already proved that, but sometimes the male also good at it.
For some male, yeah.
So the question is really they have the strengths built in the nature of the gender, or we affect by the stereotype, and the stereotype just passed for 1,000 years and make us still think so.
It's also related with the nature of the women. Women biologically suitable for taking care of the child because she has to feed, milk the child, or put the child to bed. It's decided by logic. And for the first few years, I think the dynamics between the mother and the child is really important. It's really determine what kind of person the child will be in the future. The mother is indifferent or so distant from the child will feel insecure. He will maybe become an insecure person in the future intimate relationships.
It means his mother is indifferent and affect the personality of the child. I'm just curious. Yes, male should be patient, but why female are patient with babies, but not patient with male? Really? I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, you get it?
Baby
Your experience?
I don't get it.
A lot of female really cater the needs of babies, but sometimes they really do not want to hear anything from male. They are not that patient.
Innocent.
Does that happen in your family? So you have this.
In my family, yes, my mother do not hear any words from my father, but my mother is really patient with me, and it's really weird.
Come back to your question. Female are patient to their child instead of the male. I think it's not about gender or the relationship. It's about the person themselves. Maybe they are too familiar with each other. They know their disadvantages, their personality, so they don't want to waste time arguing again and again. But for children, since you have very tight connection, you were a part of her. So I think the mothers will take care of their child and be patient, try their best to care them, love them. As we know, relationship can become lighter and lighter as time goes.
Yeah, children is a new member of the family. They're not so familiar with each other. But as time going, when the children have the self-awareness, 自我意识, they will also quarrel with their mom. Especially when the children are into the primary school, they'll have their homeworks. The moms will also get very crazy with it.
I saw that a lot of clips on the Douyin. That's a disaster. Really collapse. The mother or father or mother. So that means maybe they are not that patient with the child when they're facing the competing or something. Peer pressure. The third question in your mind, what is an ideal woman and an ideal man? Where do these expectations come from? And how do you interpret the differences?
Who wants to share first?
I will share first that they have something in common, some common values, that they should be good temper, and some good manner should be sympathy and be reason, and some unique for the woman would be maybe girly and to be good at cooking and patient. But nowadays, I think the culture really changed because traditionally, women should be patient. But nowadays, we can see that women are easy to be irritated and easy to be provoked.
The ideal woman is good at cooking and be girly.
And the man, I think, should be brave, sometimes outgoing, and maybe have the trait of the leadership. Sometimes we admire the very strong man. That's unique expectation on the man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do these expectations come from?
I really doubt it. I'm not sure. We only see some extent, and it shows the world is like that.
Yes.
But we can see the trend maybe in Europe. It changed a little bit because they stress on the gender equality, and the female also could be worker, can provide for the family, and the male also can be a house husband. If we aware this situation, what happens right now in Europe, I really doubt maybe in the future it will change, because what happened in Europe, it may prove it can be changed. We can see the trend. But in the future, maybe after 40 or 50 years later, maybe we can see the outcome. Their male is not that strong enough, and the female is not vulnerable as we imagine. Maybe what we are talking today is still in the cycle of stereotype, because we cannot say we're not affected by the others' ideas or the cultures or something.
Affected by the Europe culture.
We can say the culture is involved in Europe. In the past, it's not like that. But nowadays, we can see the trend. And the trend after years will become a culture.
So the question is, if you guys are walking on the streets and you see some pretty girls with a lot of cosmetics in your faces, were you jealous or want more cosmetics to be attractive? Could you share your opinions? Because I'm not a woman, I saw the pretty girls, I will just give compliments. But I don't know if there's something same as the woman, the girls.
I won't feel envious, but I can't help but look at her more. I like seeing beautiful women too.
So
Good
were
for our
you
health.
jealous or I want to be as pretty as that girl or that woman?
Good question. Let me think about
Maybe
it.
you should put it another
we're
way, just
pretty
like
wrong.
your sibling. That's like your brother have a girlfriend. It's easy to answer.
We have our own beauty that can't be compared. And that not so many spicy girls in Shenzhen, I think. There are more beautiful girls and spicy girls in Changsha. When you take subways in Changsha, you will see a lot of beautiful girls. But Shenzhen, everybody is relaxed and casual.
Everyone
We are
is
busy
overworked
making
and
money.
their eyes are.
Like,
Luis, do you satisfy this answer?
Yes, I'm satisfied. Something the same. I just appreciate their pretty beauties, right?
I think people all like beautiful things, including flowers, etc.
will you be jealous about the handsome guy in Shenzhen? Oh,
The
not
man?
handsome, very successful.
Maybe
can
handsome,
earn-
maybe successful. Luis, there is two choices. The first one is your sister have a boyfriend is good looking. Another one is very successful. So which one you envy most?
Envy most, right? No, I just don't envy them. There's no need. Just appreciate them. Like, oh wow, he's such a successful man and must have been suffer a lot. And I will say like this,
They must have a lot.
Suffer. Oh,
suffered.
have their struggles.
You know, being successful is not easy. You're gonna through a lot
Yes.
of pains.
Some people
And
just born rich.
that's the reason most of people are not successful. So if you've seen some successful men, you should worship them. You should show the reputation, show the dignity to them, because they really experience something that you have never experienced in your life.
I really have a sister. Do you have a sister?
No?
I have two sisters.
I thought you are a single child in your family.
I have two sisters. It's like my cousins. I have two sisters, and their husband is really successful. And one is working in the college. Another one working in the bank. And the older one, I met him when I was in college. And we are really good friends because we know each other for a long time. I think there is not the feeling of if we marry some guy I do not know. I'm not sure. Maybe I will envy. Like if he just drive a very fancy car, maybe I will envy. But if he is very good looking,
You will feel
Maybe.
worried.
I don't need to worry because definitely I will not compete with him on my sister, right? I think it's fine. But he is very successful. Maybe I will feel pressure.
Okay, I mean, I say you may feel worried is because this kind of good-looking guys may be attractive to lots of women. There would be lots of temptations.
And it's really hard to say that. And good-looking and wealthy, they are all a factor to attract females, male and female. I think even a wealthy woman will attract a male. Yeah.
Okay.
Last question.
Let me read the question. Gender differences often create tension. If humanity moves towards a more androgynous or gender-blended future, do you think it would reduce these conflicts?
I don't think so. I remember the data shows that even they are same gender, the chance of breaking up is higher than two genders. So this means maybe the gay intimate relationship itself is more delicate than two genders. Intimate relationship itself is very hard to deal with. And we can see that even in the same gender in the dorm room, only have 4 or 5 people, but they would have a lot of WeChat groups. We are really double standard, and if I imagine there is a man 100% exactly like me and we live together, maybe we will hate each other because we are really double standard. We even do not notice that. Some people think you are selfish and I'm the one
Innocent.
dedicated to the family. But actually, from others' perspective, it's totally different. So maybe we do not aware that we are not good as we imagine.
We're not good as we imagine. You live with a man, a boy.
Even with myself, 100% like me.
There will be tension and friction.
I'm not sure we can get along with each other very well because in your imagination, maybe you are perfectly for each other because you are yourself. But actually, sometimes you are double standard because you are higher standard for others and lower standard for yourself. You have some excuse.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think the tension is inevitable for any kind of relationships. Even you live with your friends or family or your boyfriend, girlfriend, there will be frictions between you. So the friction is inevitable because one of the reasons that you said people are always double standard. This is the same thing. The tension and the friction is the same thing that makes us more mature, to make us better. Only through the intimate relationships with others, you can see your weakness or problems. It's just like a mirror to reflect your shortcomings or your
abilities.
So we need relationships. We need intimate relationships because we need this kind of tension and frictions. It is like the fuels to drive a car to make us better. I think the tension is a good thing for us. But what nowadays saying about the tension, 男女对立, the topic is always on the social medias. The social medias is misleading us about these topics. It always makes us have a lot of misunderstandings with each other genders. So this is not a good phenomenon to make the two genders to get along with each other because everyone has his own information cocoons. So you always have your own standpoint to fight for yourself. There will be more collisions or more frictions because of the social medias, because the social medias exaggerate our problems or tension. Another reason for the tension is the rise of feminism. Nowadays, feminism is a really hot topic for the women. Overnight, women are awakened from the past. Society is adapted to the women's group, giving women more opportunities to show themselves, to have more opportunities. And the males also need to adapt to the changing for the women. This is a necessary process for each gender to have this kind of tension, to adapt it to each other. Necessary process, I think.
Yeah, we can see that on the internet, some people tend to polarize the problems and to cater to the imagination of some people. Maybe male and female, to some extent, is different, but not that different as what we saw on the internet. We believe we have a lot of things in common. We can understand each other.
Honestly speaking, I partly agree with your opinions. For me, I think the conflicts would be like an inverted U shape. It's like the conflicts would initially be very fierce and then reduced. That's because now more women are waking up and they are becoming more independent. They are fight for more equal and reasonable rights. So I think at this stage, conflicts could be very fierce. But as the society develops, for an ideal step, I think the society will be more tolerant, and both men and women, they have relatively higher cognition. They already achieved a balance of the equality, and everyone is able to maximize their value. Gender does not matter as long as goal is achieved. And I think at that time, it's not about the two camps of females and males. Maybe that time human beings need to unite and to face more other problems. For example, the environment problems or even the robot problems, things like that. So I think human beings finally will be more united and face up other problems in the future.
Because in the future, there will be the third gender, the robot.
You can say that.
We are united because of the third gender.
And also, you remind me of some people who are cross-gender. The boundary is blurred. In the future, the conflicts will be reduced, but it takes time.
Yeah.
Yes, the relationship is dynamic between male and female. And in the future, we can strike a new balance. We can see it.
Yeah. And the robot and the AI will help us a lot.
Can we say this is a positive and beneficial trend, or it's bad for the society, or it's good?
We cannot imagine it. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. We cannot imagine. Maybe it's good because the robot could be an ideal male or female. Maybe.
Definitely.
Yes.
I think definitely they will. They can be designed according to your needs in the future.
And the robot even can breed some baby to collect some genes from human being to create some very unique and
Genius baby.
Genius. Yeah, maybe. So the people do not need to communicate each other. We communicate with the robot, and the robot communicate with another robot, and the robot will communicate with you. The robot become the bridge. There will be no argument. Maybe. So it's good or not? Not sure. From now, with our perspective, it's a nightmare. But we don't know.
How to imagine? Yes. So for me, the gender differences often create conflict. I guess it's just because the difference from the biological perspective, because the components of a man is totally different to a components of a woman, and these two physical bodies plays the different roles in the society, and they match and they give birth to the next generations. And that's the natural law or evolutionary theory, I would say. Conflicts or tensions can be short-termed because they eventually have to match to each other to give birth to the next generation. I wouldn't define the tension as a long-term conflicts, but on the contrary, the tensions or conflicts between same genders can have a long-lasting influence in the future. But how to reduce this conflict? As you mentioned, the gender-blended future can be a possibility because people, especially in the workplace, the boss will require everyone to do their jobs. Either you are a woman or a man, and you're gonna do the things well, you can make things done, and that's your job, that's your capability. And that kind of job position requires the same personal traits and same abilities to do it. Both men and women should have the same skills to make it done. And if we just succeeded for a certain period of time, and there is no much differences or subtle difference between these two genders, and I think that can be a possible trend in the future, as you mentioned. Is it possible to reduce the conflicts? I don't know, maybe in the near future, and everybody, no matter woman or man, they no longer give birth. The only person they will rely on is the robots. is a humanoid robot. I wouldn't say too much, but it can be kind of some really catastrophic problems coming up. Maybe it's coming to the rules of the human, the nature, who knows. Anyway, I just kind of being afraid of the future sometimes, especially the outbreaks of the AI and also the humanoid robots is more acting like a human, and that really adds me some anxieties.
Yeah, when it describing that human will stop giving birth to child, that is also described in a very good sci-fi novel. Brave New World. Have you ever read it? 美丽新世界. Brave New World is describing the same thing as what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Seems we already covered all the sub-questions, and I think the discussion itself is very comprehensive and lighthearted. As always, we can share one takeaway to our audience. So there is one word or one sentence you want to share to our audience to think about tonight.
Okay, let me start. I want to share a saying by a poet. In me, the tiger sniffs the rose. See fried sassoon.
What I want to share is that the difference between individuals is much bigger than difference between genders.
My sharing would be men are from Mars and women are from Venus. But luckily, we are still in the solar system. I do love Venus.
You do love Venus. You don't love Mars.
I'm from Mars, but I do love Venus.
Oh.
My takeaway is everything on Earth is dynamically balanced. Being mediocre can be also a good choice for us. 也许平庸也是一个很好的方式。
Mediocre.
Okay.
All right, thanks to Louis, Mia, and Hawking for joining, and thanks to our audience for tuning in. So awesome tonight. Will random thoughts turn into real conversation? See you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye. And now some bonus footage.
The tiger sniffs the rose. See fried sassoon.
是谁啊？
看法语啊，或者
它是英国的吗？
是谁？
你看一下，
叫什么？中文叫什么？心有猛虎，细嗅蔷薇。
是的，
叫什么呀？这个很出名的，一格弗里他。
英国近代著名的反战诗人及小说家，出生于伦敦的上流社会家庭，曾就读于剑桥大学。
这个是他说的，我想去看一下他的诗。
我觉得翻译的也很美，主要是心有猛虎，细嗅蔷薇。你们之前都听过是吧？
听过中文，英文没听过。
Just like what I said about the ideal man inside and soft inside.
但是你得是蔷薇啊，不能是那个羊肉。
我是那个 tiger 好吧？
你是那个 tiger。OK。
哎，你说的很对，不能是羊肉。
对，
可以升维了。伊森的那个中文是啥呀？
什么中文？
你的那句男的在火星，
男的在火星，女的在地球。我在火星，但是我爱金星人。
大家怎么都这么会说？还好我抄的及时，不然我就暴露我的水平。
你这个文化好吧？
而且 Venus 那个它还有一个意思就是罗马的爱神的维纳斯。
对，Mars 就是战神。
是吗 ？Mars 是战神吗？
好像就是打斗的那种，类似于。
知道 Venus 女神吗？
是美于爱之神维纳斯。
Mars 哦，是的，罗马战神。都是一语双关，原来是这样啊！
哎呀，以后如果生一个儿子叫 Mars，生一个女儿叫 Venus，也挺好。